There are ancient secrets buried in the sands of Egypt, secrets we were never supposed to find. Massive stone monuments built with no clear explanation. A queen who ruled one of the greatest civilizations, and then vanished without a trace. Surgical procedures more advanced than what Europe had 3,000 years later. And maybe, just maybe, a hidden chamber under the Sphinx filled with knowledge lost to time. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Except every bit of that is real. For over 2 centuries, archaeologists, adventurers, and the occasional guy with a YouTube channel have tried to decode the mysteries of ancient Egypt. And sure, we've made progress. We can read their writing, we know who most of the kings were, and we've got a pretty solid grasp of what happens when you take a body and wrap it like a burrito. But the deeper we dig, literally and figuratively, the more we realize how much we don't know. And the more those ancient mysteries start to feel unsettling. So today, we're not just talking pyramids and mummies. We're diving into what ancient Egypt is still hiding from us. The missing pieces, the unexplained science, the gods, the lost cities, and the questions that still keep historians awake at night. Ready? Because once you start looking into the past, it starts looking right back. Let's start with the undisputed heavyweight champion of ancient enigmas, the Pyramids of Giza. Built over 4,500 years ago, these things are so massive, so mathematically precise, and so aggressively mysterious that they make modern architects break out into cold sweats. Over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing more than a pickup truck, were hauled across desert terrain and stacked with such insane precision that even your IKEA shelf looks embarrassed. So how'd they do it? Did they use giant ramps? Maybe. But the amount of materials and space required for a straight ramp would have basically needed its own zip code. Spiral ramps? Sure, if you like theories with zero physical evidence. What about an internal spiral? Also, no proof. We're left with guesses. Really good guesses, but still, guesses. And then there's the Sphinx, just chilling nearby like it's not the most confusing statue in history. Why does it have the body of a lion and the face of a bored man? What was its real purpose? A guardian? A portrait of a pharaoh? A political meme? We have no idea. Some researchers think it might actually be older than the pyramids themselves based on water erosion. If that's true, then everything we think we know about ancient Egyptian timelines is basically a historical jigsaw puzzle with pieces from 3 different boxes. Also, and this is the part where things get juicy, there may be undiscovered chambers beneath the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau. Some believe there's a hall of records hidden underground, a mythical library containing lost knowledge of the ancients. Do we know it's real? No. Do people want it to be real badly enough that they've written 18 books and 300 Reddit threads about it? Absolutely. But here's the kicker. No one's allowed to dig under the Sphinx. We're not saying there's a conspiracy. Actually, wait. We are saying there might be a conspiracy. And all of this is before we even touch Egypt's surprisingly advanced medicine. Did you know ancient Egyptians were performing brain surgery? Yeah, they did trephination, where they drilled holes in people's skulls to relieve pressure, cure mental illness, or maybe just let out the evil ghosts. They also used moldy bread and beer as medicine, which, plot twist, actually works as an antibiotic. That's right. These people were casually treating infections with craft brews while Europe was still curing everything with bloodletting and hope. But how did they learn this stuff? Did they have medical schools? Was there a textbook called How to Not Kill Your Patients, Papyrus Edition? We don't know. A lot of their surgical tools were made of bronze and obsidian, which, fun fact, is sharper than modern scalpels. But the details, how widespread this knowledge was, who had access to it, what procedures they actually pulled off, are still buried with the mummies. Speaking of knowledge, let's talk about their geometry and astronomy, because these people weren't just stacking rocks, they were aligning pyramids with the stars. Perfectly. To the cardinal directions. Using what? A stick and a dream? Seriously, the Great Pyramid is aligned within 0.05 degrees of true north. A feat so precise it makes modern compass makers cry themselves to sleep. They built temples that aligned with the solstices. They mapped constellations. They understood the movement of Venus better than most of us understand our own sleep schedule. Which brings us to the Dendera light. If you've never seen it, it's a carving on the wall of the Temple of Hathor that looks suspiciously, and I mean suspiciously, like a giant light bulb. According to mainstream scholars, it's symbolic. A lotus flower, a snake, and a deity. According to the internet, it's proof that Egyptians invented electricity. According to me, it's definitely the weirdest ancient nightlight ever recorded. Now let's get into one of Egypt's greatest unsolved cold cases. Queen Nefertiti. She was beautiful, powerful, married to Pharaoh Akhenaten, the guy who basically tried to cancel Egypt's whole religious system and go full monotheist before it was cool. And then, she disappears. One day she's ruling the world with cheekbones so sharp they could cut granite, and the next, poof, she's gone from the historical record. No confirmed tomb, no official death date. Some scholars think she changed her name and ruled as pharaoh. Others think she got erased from history because someone didn't like her vibes. Either way, it's history's most fashionable vanishing act. And just when you think you've heard it all, enter the lost labyrinth. Described by ancient Greek writers like Herodotus, this was supposedly a massive underground complex near Hawara, bigger than the pyramids, with thousands of chambers and halls. But today, we've found nothing. Well, okay. In 2008, some radar scans did show structures underground. And then Egypt said, "Cool, thanks," and closed the area to further excavation. Classic. The idea of an enormous underground maze built by ancient Egyptians and then mysteriously covered up? We'd like a full Scooby-Doo team on this immediately, please, and thank you. But mysteries don't stop with pharaohs and pyramids. They extend into everyday life. Or at least, what we think was everyday life. We know a lot about what rich people did. Their tombs are full of furniture, gold, games, and very enthusiastic art. But what about the average Egyptian? What did they wear when they weren't mummified? What did they eat that wasn't ceremonial goose liver? What was the ancient Egyptian version of binge-watching Netflix? We're still guessing. Even the role of women is confusing. We know women had legal rights. They could own property, initiate divorce, and even rule the country. But was this true for all women, or just those at the top? It's hard to say when most surviving records come from people rich enough to commission tombs with their faces etched on every wall. Their religion? Just as murky. Sure, we know about Osiris, Isis, Horus, Anubis, Ra, the whole divine lineup. But how did regular Egyptians actually worship? Was it public, private, daily, weekly? Did they have spiritual influencers selling Eye of Horus necklaces on papyrus scrolls? Even their symbols are a puzzle. Take the Ankh. It shows up everywhere. It means life. Probably. But it might also symbolize the sunrise, fertility, eternal love, or the ancient version of live, laugh, love. We're not totally sure. And here's the truth bomb at the end of all this. Everything we know about ancient Egypt is incomplete. We're piecing together 3,000 years of civilization using tomb art, crumbling temples, and whatever the desert hasn't eaten yet. It's the historical equivalent of trying to understand your grandparents' life using only their fridge magnets and one old voicemail. We've lost records. We've misinterpreted symbols. We've made educated guesses that might someday turn out to be completely wrong. And as long as we can't open those sealed tombs, dig under the Sphinx, or decode the full context of Egyptian daily life, we'll keep asking the same questions. And that's kind of the magic, isn't it? Maybe one day we'll crack the last secrets of ancient Egypt. Maybe we'll find the Hall of Records, or figure out what the Sphinx is actually thinking about while it stares into eternity. Or maybe they left those mysteries unsolved on purpose. A cosmic prank from 5,000 years ago. Until then, all we can do is keep digging, keep questioning, and keep being slightly unnerved by how much smarter they might have been than us. And hey, if your brain isn't already mummified from this deep dive, there's a whole lot more where that came from. Want to explore lost cities, ancient conspiracies, or just laugh at the weirdest moments in history? Hit that next video.